sweet. This is something that one of our members just did, and she rocked a deal that was destined to go nowhere. She revived it from the grave. And I got to share how she did this because this is something that everybody needs to know. So we had a COVID-19 cancellation. One of our members structured this deal. She put the property under contract with the seller. She got the property through a wholesaler, put the property under contract, and then she found a buyer, was set to make about a 10K spread on it. And then she heard from the wholesaler that first it was that the tenant didn't want any showings, the inspection, so no access. And then later that the deal actually was just going to be canceled because of this whole COVID-19 thing. And you see, she had worked really, really hard on this deal to put the whole thing together. So when she heard that, she's like, what? Are you kidding me? And so when she heard that, she got a little bit nervous. She's like, are you kidding me? Like, really? I've been working really hard on this thing, and now all of a sudden it's going to fall apart? No way. And so she went back and forth talking with the wholesaler. And finally the wholesaler like couldn't produce enough information. So she said, hey, let me have the seller's phone number. Let me try to save this deal for both of us. I'm not going to cut you out. I'm going to save this deal for both of us. And so what she did is she ended up calling the seller. And at first the seller was a little bit grumpy because the seller, for whatever reason, didn't like the wholesaler that was in on this deal. And so the seller was going to cancel it, but Kate was able to talk to the seller and say, hey, what's the real issue? And the seller said, well, this whole COVID-19 thing, like the tenant's at home and she can't have people in the house. Like, and I respect that and I'm not going to force it. So I'm canceling the deal. And Kate said, well, if we just wait a little bit and give her a couple weeks until some of this stuff blows over, can we still go forward with the sale? And the seller said, yeah, I still want to sell. I'd love to. And then she kept going back and forth and talking more and more and building some rapport to the point that the seller actually said, well, hey, yeah, not only do I have this one, but I've got this one and maybe one more. And she said, oh, really? Cool. Let's talk about that one. And she started opening up the door for more properties. And it was all because she didn't take no for an answer. She didn't take, hey, this is dead. She got back up and she tried harder. She put on her detective hat and she kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Here's what I know about Kate. And this is why, this is not just one deal that she did. This is one deal that she did something miraculous on. She saved a deal that was a dead deal. But beyond this, I know Kate very well. Kate closes deals. Like she closed last month, she closed 4, maybe 5 even. Month before that, it was somewhere between 3 and 5, something like that. And every single month she's able to pull deals to the table because this is something about her that I see as a trend in most of our successful members. They work hard. They put in the hours. They do what it takes to make the deals happen. They don't give up when everybody else gives up. And so for Kate right now, like she makes deals happen because she's a go-getter. And I just want to take a minute to recognize her and honor her. And I want to honor the struggle that she goes through. Sometimes you see posts out there about people doing deals, but you don't really get to hear the stories that help make those deals and that push them through to the finish line. But Kate's one of those people that she pushes until she gets the job done. And that's why she's able to close consistent deals every single month. So if you're at a spot right now where you're not closing consistent deals right now, I would challenge you to really look hard at what you're doing, the actions you're taking. Do you have someone that's giving you a blueprint? Okay, that's question number 1. Do you have someone that's giving you a blueprint that's done this hundreds of times before that can actually help you? Are you pushing as hard as you need to push? Are you giving up when someone says no? Or when a seller says, hey, I'm sorry, your offer's too low, and the seller rejects you, are you giving up? Do you know that there's actually 17 ways to buy a house? That's a whole nother conversation, but 17 different ways to buy a house. So you shouldn't be just dropping a cash offer on the seller and walking away. You shouldn't be giving up so fast. Kate is successful because she doesn't give up. Kate keeps pushing until she gets to the answer that benefits everybody. And this seller wanted to sell. So she kept pushing until she finally got that answer. She was able to help the seller and she's able to help her buyer, and she gets paid in the middle because she kept pushing on this. So what I know about Kate and what I know about other successful members of our program is that they've got the blueprint, they got the coaching or the mentoring that they needed to get success, and then they don't give up. They have so much persistence and so much drive that they're going to keep pushing to make sure that they get the results out of this. So I would ask myself, if you're not getting the results that you want right now, I would ask myself those two questions. Do I have the right someone coaching me or supporting me? And then number two, do I have the right drive? Am I really pushing to get results? And I'll tell you right now, especially in this cycle that we're in with this whole COVID craziness that's happening right now, the people that are doing well, they're not taking a no for an answer. Like they're pushing harder. The Best Buy, I just drove to Best Buy yesterday because I needed some much needed cables for the router and Wi-Fi connections so I can keep working from home, so I can keep serving sellers and keep serving buyers and keep doing my job as a real estate investor. And so I went to Best Buy to go get them, and they changed their whole business. Like I pulled into the parking lot and I had to go through this lane, a drive-through lane, and it was the coolest but weirdest thing ever. I pull up and I get to the drive-through window, so to speak, and there was a Best Buy team member saying there, "Hey, can I take your order? What would you like?" And they basically turned Best Buy into like a fast food takeout thing. So they call it their contactless service. So you don't have to go into the store. You don't have to touch anybody. Nobody has to touch you. Somebody will run in the store for you, get what you need, and then come out, charge you for it. And then you're on your way. It was incredible. Like when I see things like that in a time like this, when some people are scared and they're panicking and they're retreating, that's not the way. That's not what you should do. Right now is the time to step forward. Our world needs people that are going to lead, people that are going to step up and raise their hand and say, "Hey, I'm here to help." And I'll tell you one thing right now for real estate investors, if you're helping sellers right now, you probably had some of the calls like I've had in the last 2 weeks. Sellers need help right now. Sellers, especially the ones that have lost jobs, when they want to cash out on their property, they want someone like you or I that can step in and actually help them. They want someone to talk to. And it's not always just a cash deal. Sometimes we can even structure creative terms or seller finance deals. Either way, when sellers reach out right now, it's because they want help. There's uncertainty. They don't know if the real estate market's going to go up, down, left, right, sideways, crash. Like they don't know any of that, but they want help. And they ask questions. And if we're not there doing our job, if you and I claim to be a real estate investor right now, then this is the most important time that we should be stepping up. I remember 2008. I remember what that felt like to have one house under contract for 100,000 and then have the house next door being sold for 30,000 because it was a distressed foreclosure. Like I remember that big swings and in uncertainty and scary in times and banks pulling back lines of credit. When I worked in my corporate job, I could get almost any bank loan under the sun. And then when I left my corporate job in the middle of all of that last financial crisis, like the banks pulled back. Like I remember that feeling, that uncertainty. And right now, some of that same uncertainty is out there because people are scared right now, rightfully so. But it's time for you and I as a real estate investor not to hide. It's time for us to step up. And you do that by having facts. The facts will beat out fear. You've probably seen in the last week or so, I brought on a lot of really talented people, titans in some regards in their industry. Like the gentleman that we're going to have on Thursday this week is a titan in his industry. He has over $350 million in assets that he watches over. He's got commercial property, tons of single family. He's like the king landlord in the United States. And he's coming on Thursday to talk to you guys. We've got a couple other special guests that I'm working on this week as well. And they're all coming. And I want to bring forward facts that beat out fear. Okay. The facts. Pay attention to what these really smart people that have gone through cycles before are doing right now. I haven't talked to any of them, not even one that is retreating right now. Every single one that I've spoke with so far, and you can listen to the interviews from last week of the guests that I had on, but every interview so far, the guests have always said that they're stepping forward. They're stepping up. They're increasing their marketing. They're increasing their reach. They're not retreating right now. They're stepping up. So I just encourage that you do the same thing right now. If you want to come out on the other side of this shakeup that we're feeling in a better spot than you're at right now, then it's time for you to step up. It's time for us as real estate investors to step up and serve the sellers. So that's just my words of encouragement today. Watch your email and or stream feed like this for more. We've got some awesome guests coming up this week. I mentioned to you Thursday, like the titan of the landlord industry, a real genuine dude, like awesome guy. He's going to be on Thursday. That's I'll announce it tomorrow. So you'll get the names and you can look them up and all that kind of stuff. And then we've got some other special guests that I'm working on for you guys this week as well. All right. Hope you guys are all doing well. We'll talk again soon. Thanks.